Hey, it's Rachel from Taylor and Kensington, and I'm here with my May wrap-up. I'm pretty excited to bring you my books. I actually read 19 this month, which I'm pretty excited about, but it was all thanks to the several readathons that were going on this month that I got to join. Let's see, first there was the rereadathon where you got to reread some of your favorite books, and that got me off to a really good start. Then I joined the Battle of Books readathon, which coincided with the Crush Your TBR, and that ran into the one that we just finished, which was the Read Your Bookshelf-a-thon. So with all of those readathons in May, I had a really good reading month. And I actually got into quite a few graphic novels, which if you've watched any of my videos, you've realized that that's one of my goals this year, is to try to get more into that arena, because I'm not a huge graphic novel fan. But the first graphic novel series that I picked up and really started this month was the Lunch Lady series. Here is the first one. Lunch Lady, oh, I'm sorry, this is not the first one. This is the last one, number 10. Lunch Lady and the School-Wide Scuffle. This particular one was kind of fun because it kind of pulled all of them together. But basically, it's the story of this crazy lunch lady who is kind of a hidden superhero. She works with her partner in crime, or partner in heroship, I guess, Betty, and they usually just get into some crazy things as they're trying to save the school from various villains. And they're really cute, they're really easy to read, they're fast, they're fun. I like that it's all in like a grayscale, except for little pieces of yellow. That's really the only color they put in there. So it's kind of neat. I like the way they do the colors, and they're just really, really adorable. I ended up reading, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total this month. I read the 1st, the 2nd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 10th. These are the ones that, as you can see, I got from the library. These are the ones that I could get my hands on this month, and I'm hoping to finish this series with the last few that I have to finish in June for the hashtag a yearathon, finish a series. But this is the Lunch Lady series, and I very much like these. So that was my first collection of graphic novels that I read. The second graphic novel I picked up was Death Note. This is a manga-style graphic novel, and that's not really my favorite. I don't like reading it backwards. It totally disorients me, and it actually took me a while to figure out how to read the text boxes. I digress. This one, aside from being the manga style, was pretty interesting. There's like a death god who drops a notebook, and this guy here on the cover picks it up, and basically when you write a name in the notebook, that person dies. And then there's stipulations on how they die, how quickly they die, etc. And at first he's using his powers, I guess, for good, and he's killing off criminals and people who are bad for society. And then he kind of lets the power gets to his head, and it kind of transitions. So I'm really excited to maybe pick up the second one and see how the story goes. I heard about this first via Kaz on Little Book Owl, and she was really into them, so I decided to give them a try, especially since I'm trying to branch out into graphic novels. But I definitely will be reading the second one. I can't guarantee I'll read all of them, but I do want to kind of see where it goes from here. So I finished this first one, hoping to read the second one maybe this month or next month. Next, I picked up one that I saw from the cover had a couple of awards, and that is this one, Summer. One thing I did like about this one, again, is like the colors. It was like a grayscale, but they did it with like purple, so purple scale. But it's all in like purple hues. It was kind of cute. Not what I would expect from a graphic novel. This one was pretty deep. It talked about some pretty serious topics. There was some questionable content, I would think, for teens. Some of it made me a little uncomfortable as an adult, so I would be interested to see how a teen would react to this. Overall, it was pretty good. I really liked the pictures. I liked that this graphic novel was kind of like a novel just told through pictures instead of necessarily like a comic book style. But again, I thought it was pretty heavy for the graphic novel setting. That kind of, it threw me off a little bit. I was not expecting that. So if you read this one, let me know what you think. I think overall it was worth the read, but probably not my favorite. When I pick up a graphic novel, I think I want to be more entertained than thought-provoking material, if that makes sense. But I did get this one finished, and that added to my graphic novel collection for the month. I read 2 more graphic novels. The first one was Amulet, which I thought was pretty cute. I was a little bit unsure seeing the cover there. I thought this is going to be kind of hokey. I'm not going to like this because I'm not really into like the fantasy sci-fi, but I was really surprised that I liked this a lot. I definitely plan on reading the second one sometime this summer. Basically, it's a story of these 2 siblings who lose their dad and they move with their mom to this kind of weird little house, and they find the amulet, which has like secret powers. And my favorite part was, and it kind of shows you here on the back, a little house that turns into like a transformer. It's kind of neat. It's kind of creative. It wasn't nearly as hokey, so to speak, as I thought it would be, and I thought it was pretty good. I read it over 2 days, and I thought it was pretty good. The illustrations were all pretty good. I definitely plan on reading this one, so I'm excited that I found a couple graphic novels that I like, especially the next one, which was one of my favorite ones that I read. I definitely plan on reading more, and that is Alex and Ada. Just by the cover, I thought this was going to be really weird, but I really liked it, actually, and I'm very excited to read more into this series. Basically, Alex is just a regular guy, kind of in the future setting, and Ada is a robot, basically, that his grandma bought him for companionship. And as I'm reading this, I thought it was kind of silly and kind of funny, but I mean, it really is, it makes you think, but in kind of a not so deep way as maybe This One Summer. But in this, he's trying to decide like if he thinks it's fair that she's just there to agree with him and to give him companionship, and she doesn't get any of her own thoughts. And he actually works with a secret group to help her become more human and have her own emotions. And I thought that was kind of an interesting topic. And it left off at kind of a cliffhanger here with Volume 1, so I'm definitely waiting to get my hands on Volume 2 to check it out. So that's quite a few graphic novels that I got through this month, and a couple that I liked, a couple that I didn't like. I'm narrowing in on what kind of graphic novels I like, so I'm pretty excited about that. I did read a few actual novels, though. First, I picked up some young adult novels. Most of these were read for the rereadathon because I haven't read a ton of adult ones that I really wanted to reread yet, but several young adult ones I read a long time ago that I really wanted to check out again. The first one was Demon in My View. One of the main reasons why I picked this up when I was younger is because the author was really young when she wrote it, and that always fascinated me. And of her books, this one was my favorite. It's kind of like a little bit Twilight-ish. It's about this girl who's a writer, and she's kind of an outcast, and it turns out that the vampire world she writes about is actually true. She doesn't know it, and we don't really know why, but she's got some sort of connection with it, and she knows exactly what's happening in this vampire world, even though she doesn't actually know it exists. And the guy you see here on the cover, Aubrey, is one of her characters, and he comes and kind of seeks her out and finds her, and it's pretty interesting. And it's really, really short, so if you ever get a chance to read it, I would definitely check it out. It's kind of a Twilight-y, neat little read. Next, I picked up The Face on the Milk Carton. I read this one a long time ago, and I've been seeing it on a lot of clearance shelves, at least this one or one in the series, and I was kind of thinking about maybe trying to read through the whole series. I don't quite remember how far I got when I was younger. I know I read this one. I think I might have read the second one. I don't remember. So I definitely wanted to give this one a read so I could get started on the series if I decide to later. It's a lot more like hokey than I remembered when I was younger, and I feel like there's a couple weird relationships in it now as an adult reading it than I did when I was younger reading it. So it actually kind of put me off from reading the series, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep going or not. I don't know. Let me know if you read this and if you think I should keep going or not. I'm not sure. That one's on hold. So it was kind of interesting to read it from the adult perspective that I didn't have, obviously, when I was younger. The next one I picked up is a series that I definitely am going to reread because I just love these. And if you haven't read them at all, you need to, and reread them if you have read them because they're just wonderful. This is Angus Thongs in Full Frontal Snogging. This is the Georgia Nicholson series, and it's basically this diary of this British girl, and it's just funny. She gets into all these little shenanigans, and just the way she thinks is just so funny, especially if you've ever been around teenagers. I mean, it's so on point, and it's just humorous. What else can I say? It's great. If you have not read the series, you definitely need to. And this is the first in the series. I may not get it all done this summer, but I'm thinking I can just throw these in because they're really fast reads and they're in like the journal style. So they go by super fast. So I'm hoping throughout this year I can throw some more of these in. And I'm going to try to recollect these as well. I have some like really weird versions and some really kind of rundown copies. So I'm hoping to get them all in this nice, shiny new cover version. So we'll see about that. Next, I picked up 2 Sue Grafton novels. I picked up C is for Corpse, and I picked up D is for Deadbeat. My cover kind of got destroyed there. But I picked up both of these. I actually listened to both of these in the audio format mostly, and they were both pretty good. I think I liked C is for Corpse better. But this is basically her alphabet series. She's got one for each letter. She's probably, I don't even know what she's up to at this point. But I've definitely gotten way behind on these because these are fairly old books. But they're pretty easy to listen to. I would highly recommend these as audiobooks as you're traveling in the car because, you know, they're mysteries, but they're not like too deep. You don't have to pay super close attention to keep up with the story, but they are pretty interesting to keep your attention. So I read both of these as audiobooks this month to and fro to work. Next, I finished A Darker Shade of Magic. This one I'd heard about mostly on the YouTubes here, and it sounded pretty interesting, and it was. It kind of had a slow start. I actually put it down for a little while. I wasn't really sure, but it was amazing. It was really good. And I hear there's going to be a sequel, so I will definitely be checking that one out. If you haven't read this yet, I would highly suggest it. This is the first V.E. Schwab book I've read, but based on this, I plan to definitely check out some of her other work. But great read if you haven't read it yet. Next, I picked up a book I'm going to read for a book I read for a book club that's happening, I think, within the next week or so, and that is The Girl on the Train. I was not crazy about this. I mean, it was okay. It was worth the read. If it's on your to-be-read list, give it a read. Let me know what you think. I definitely wouldn't skip it just based on my mediocre review, but I just wasn't sold on this. I didn't really like any of the characters. And that made it hard to really care what happened to them. I still wanted to know. I thought I had a pretty good idea of what happened in the end, so I wasn't too surprised, but I don't know. I wasn't sold on this book. It was an interesting concept. I just wasn't sold on how it was delivered. I probably wouldn't read this again. I'm not sure I would read another one of her books. But if you've read this and you really liked it, let me know down below why you liked it. If you haven't read it yet, I would at least give it a read. It's worth a read. It's just probably not going to be your favorite book, but definitely worth a read. Next one I just finished as an audiobook mostly was a Janet Ivanovich book, and that is High Five. When I first started the Stephanie Plum series, I was not crazy about it. I thought it was kind of silly, but the more I read these, they're just fun. In this one, and if you don't know, Stephanie is becoming I guess in the first one, she becomes a bounty hunter, and she's not really great at it, so she gets a lot of help from some fun characters, and there's usually at least one fun experience as a bounty hunter. In this one, she's trying to get a guy, an FTA, a failure to appear, and he is a small person, a little person, and he causes a lot of drama, and it's just silly, the situation she gets herself into, but it's funny. I literally found myself laughing out loud in my car on the way to work listening to this. So if you haven't yet started the Janet Ivanovich Stephanie Plum series, I would definitely give it a try. I know she's up to at least like 21, 22 now, so I have a lot of catching up to do. But I definitely got High Five done. I'm hoping to do Hot 6, I think is the next one. I'm hoping to do that next month. So that was the last book I finished. I got some of another book finished, but I did not get it completely done in time to include it in the May wrap-up, so you'll be hearing about that later. So those are the 19 books that I managed to get read this month, and I'm pretty excited about my large stack here that I got read, by far the best reading month that I ever had, so I'm so excited. I'm hoping June will be even better, and stay tuned in the next couple of days for my TBR list for June. If you read any of these books or you read any new good books that you would recommend, let me know down in the comments below. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!